The small alien ship floated alone in the dark space near the bright star Vega. Inside the vessel called Gentle Current, Captain HFY pressed his long, thin fingers against his face. His large purple eyes looked tired and scared. The ship had been broken for 6 days now, and nothing worked the way it should. "Captain, the power is getting weaker," said Valara from her seat at the communication station. Her voice was soft and musical, like all Kalari voices, but now it shook with fear. "We have maybe 2 more days before the air stops working." HFY looked around at his crew of 12. They were all scientists who had come to this star system to study strange plants on a distant planet. None of them were soldiers or engineers. They were peaceful people from a peaceful world, and they had never faced danger like this before. The Kalari were tall and thin, with skin so clear you could almost see through it. Their bones were light and hollow, perfect for their home world where the air was thick and the gravity was gentle. Their eyes were huge and sensitive, made for seeing in the soft light of their twin suns. They had lived in peace for thousands of years, never knowing war or violence. "Send the emergency signal again," HFY told Valara. "Use all the languages we know. Someone must hear us." Valara's thin fingers moved over the controls. The distress message went out into space, carrying words of help in 20 different alien languages. The message was simple but desperate. "This is the research ship Gentle Current. Our engines are broken, our life support is failing, please help us. We are at coordinates 127.4 by 83.2 in the Vega system. Please, anyone who can hear this, we need help." The message traveled through space at the speed of light, spreading out in all directions like ripples in a pond. Most of the message was lost in the empty darkness between stars, but some of it reached the edge of a small yellow star system, where a blue and green planet spun quietly in space. On Earth, Lieutenant Jake Murphy was working the night shift at the Deep Space Monitoring Station in Colorado. He was 28 years old, with short brown hair and tired eyes from staring at computer screens for too long. The station was quiet, except for the soft hum of machines and the occasional beep of incoming signals. Most of the signals they picked up were just natural radio waves from stars and planets. Sometimes they got messages from human ships exploring the outer edges of the solar system. But tonight was different. Tonight, Jake's computer started making a sound he had never heard before. "What the hell?" Jake said, sitting up straight in his chair. The signal was strong and clear, but it was not coming from any human ship. The computer was already working to translate the message using the pattern-matching programs that scientists had built to understand alien languages. Jake called his supervisor right away. "Sir, you need to see this. We're getting a signal, and it's not from us." 20 minutes later, the small monitoring station was full of people. Scientists, military, officers, and computer experts all crowded around Jake's workstation. The translation was still running, but they could already see that this was a distress call from someone who was not human. Admiral Kate Sullivan arrived by helicopter from the nearby military base. She was a strong woman in her 50s with gray hair and sharp blue eyes. She had spent 30 years in the Space Force, and she had always wondered when this day would come. The day when humans would make contact with aliens. "How sure are we that this is real?" she asked the head scientist, Dr. Ben Ross. 99% sure, Dr. Ross replied. He was a thin man with thick glasses who had spent his whole life studying radio signals from space. "The signal patterns are nothing like human technology. The language structure is completely different from anything on Earth. And look at this." He pointed to a screen showing the signal's origin. "It's coming from the Vega system, about 27 light years away. We don't have any ships out there." Admiral Sullivan read the translated message on the screen. The words were simple but heartbreaking. Somewhere out there, intelligent beings were dying and they were asking for help. "How long would it take us to get there?" she asked. "With our fastest ship, about 72 hours, replied Captain Ryan Clark, who had just arrived from the spaceport. He was a tall man with black hair and calm brown eyes. He had commanded exploration missions to the outer planets, but never anything like this. Admiral Sullivan made her decision quickly. "Captain Clark, get your ship ready. Take your best crew and everything you need for a rescue mission. We're going to help them." "Yes, ma'am," Captain Clark said. Should we tell them we're coming? Send a message back. Tell them help is on the way. Back at the monitoring station, Jake sent a simple reply toward the Vega system. This is Earth. We received your distress call. Help is coming. Hold on. As the message traveled through space toward the broken alien ship, none of the humans knew what they were getting into. They did not know that the galaxy was full of peaceful species who had never known real danger. They did not know that Earth was listed in alien databases as one of the most dangerous planets in the known universe. They did not know that to most aliens, humans were the stuff of nightmares. All they knew was that someone needed help and they were going to provide it. It was the human way, the human ship. Terra's pride appeared in the Vega system like a metal giant emerging from the darkness. It was big and strong, built to handle the dangers of deep space travel. Its hull was thick armor, designed to protect against space rocks and radiation. To human eyes, it looked beautiful and powerful. To the Kalari watching from their broken ship, it looked like a monster. Captain Ryan Clark stood on the bridge of his ship, looking at the alien vessel through the main screen. The gentle current was small and curved, made of some kind of white material that seemed to glow softly in the starlight. It looked delicate and peaceful, like a work of art floating in space. Bring us alongside them, Captain Clark told his pilot, Emma Foster. Be gentle. That ship looks like it might break if we breathe on it too hard. Emma was a young woman with red hair tied back in a tight bun. She had grown up on Mars colonies where piloting skills were needed just to survive the daily trips between domes. Her hands moved smoothly over the controls, bringing the massive human ship close to the alien vessel without causing any vibrations. Captain, I'm getting a response from them, said Communications Officer Sarah Kim. She was a small woman with black hair and quick fingers that danced over her control panel. They're speaking in their own language, but the computer is translating. The voice that came through the speakers was high and musical but filled with fear. Please, we see your ship. We are grateful for your help, but we must warn you. Our databases show that your people come from a world called Terra. Our records say this world is very dangerous. Are you sure you want to help us? Captain Clark smiled, thinking the aliens were worried about putting humans in danger. Tell them we're here to help no matter what. We're sending a rescue team over. Dr. Lisa Garcia was already preparing her medical equipment. She was a woman in her 40s with brown hair streaked with gray and steady hands that had saved many lives. As the chief medical officer, she had studied alien biology reports for weeks, trying to guess what these beings might need. I've got medical supplies for 12 different types of body chemistry, she told Captain Clark. Whatever these aliens are made of, I should be able to help them. Chief Engineer Tony Reeves was loading his repair tools into a shuttle. He was a big man with strong arms and grease under his fingernails from working on machines all his life. I'll have their ship running again in no time, he said with confidence. The shuttle bay doors opened and a small rescue craft flew across the space between the two ships. Commander Alex Wright led the rescue team. He was a calm man with kind eyes who had handled first contact situations with human colonies that had been cut off from Earth for years. When the shuttle docked with the alien ship, the first thing the humans noticed was how thin the walls were. The airlock was so delicate that Tony had to be very careful not to damage it just by touching it. The aliens who met them made the humans stop and stare in wonder. The Kalari were taller than humans, but much thinner. Their skin was so clear it was almost transparent, showing the soft glow of their internal organs. Their eyes were huge and purple, taking up almost a quarter of their faces. They moved like dancers, every step graceful and flowing. Captain Zeftai greeted the humans with a bow that looked like water flowing. His voice was like music when he spoke, even though he was clearly terrified. Welcome to our ship. We are grateful for your help, but we must ask, are you really from the Death World Terra? Commander Wright looked confused. Death World? Earth is our home. It's a beautiful planet with blue skies and green forests. The aliens looked at each other with expressions of pure horror. Philara, the communications officer, spoke in a shaking voice. Your planet has extreme weather that can kill. Your gravity is 3 times stronger than ours. Your atmosphere has poison gases. Your world has creatures that hunt and kill other creatures for food. How can you call such a place beautiful? Dr. Garcia knelt down to examine a Kalari who had been hurt when the ship broke down. As she worked, she tried to reassure them. Earth can be dangerous sometimes, but it's also wonderful. We have seasons and storms, but we also have peace and safety. And yes, we have predators, but we've learned to live with them. The injured Kalari screamed when Dr. Garcia touched him, not from pain, but from fear. Her touch, which seemed gentle, to her, was like being grabbed by a monster to the fragile alien. His bones were so light and hollow that Dr. Garcia realized she could accidentally break them just by holding him too tightly. Tony Reeves had found the broken engine and was examining it with his tools. Without thinking, he lifted a piece of metal that had fallen and was blocking his way. To him, it was just a small inconvenience. To the Kalari watching, it was impossible. The metal piece would have required 3 of them working together to move, and the human had picked it up with one hand, like it weighed nothing. "How strong are you?" asked Zeftai, his voice filled with awe and terror. "I'm not that strong," Tony said with a laugh. "Back on Earth, I'm just average. You should see my brother Jake. He can lift twice what I can." The Kalari backed away from the humans, whispering to each other in their musical language. The computer translated some of their words, and the humans began to understand that something was very wrong. "They think we're monsters," Sarah Kim said quietly to Commander Wright. "Their database has information about Earth and it scares them." Zeftai finally found the courage to speak directly to Commander Wright. "Your people, you come from a world where death waits everywhere, where the ground shakes and tries to swallow you, where the sky throws down ice and lightning, where the very air can poison you. How did your species survive? How did you become civilized instead of becoming savage beasts?" Commander Wright realized that they had a serious problem. These aliens did not see humans as heroes coming to save them. They saw humans as terrifying creatures from a nightmare world, beings so dangerous that they should not exist. The rescue was going to be much more complicated than anyone had expected. Chief Engineer Pete Davis worked carefully on the broken Kalari engine, moving slowly so he would not scare the aliens watching him. Pete was a quiet man with gentle hands, but to the Kalari, even his careful movements looked dangerous and violent. When he used his tools to remove a damaged part, the aliens gasped as if they were watching someone tear apart a living creature. "The main power core is cracked," Pete explained to Tony Reeves, who was helping him. "We need to replace the whole thing, but their technology is so different from ours. It's like trying to fix a butterfly with a hammer." The Kalari engineer, a being named Quailith, watched from across the room. His forearms shook as he saw the humans handle parts that he would never dare to touch without special protective equipment. To Quailith, the humans seemed to have no fear of the dangerous energy that could leak from the broken parts. "How can they touch the power core without dying?" Quailith whispered to Captain Zeftai. "The radiation should kill them in minutes." Dr. Lisa Garcia was having her own problems trying to understand Kalari biology. The injured alien she was treating had bones that were lighter than bird bones on Earth. His blood was clear like water, and his heart beat so fast it sounded like a tiny drum. When she tried to give him medicine, she had to use amounts so small that she needed special tools just to measure them. "Your people are so fragile," Dr. Garcia said gently to the injured Kalari. "How do you survive on your homeworld? What happens if you fall down or get hurt?" The injured alien, whose name was Meshara, looked at her with huge, frightened eyes. "We do not fall down. Our world is safe. The ground is soft. The air is clean. Nothing tries to hurt us. But your world is full of things that want to kill you. How do you sleep at night knowing that danger is everywhere?" Communications Officer Sarah Kim was trying to help the two species understand each other better, but every conversation made things worse. She had decided to show the Kalari some human entertainment to help them relax, but her choice of movies was a disaster. "This is a story that human children watch for fun," Sarah explained, as she started a movie about a man fighting against dinosaurs. "It's not real, it's just pretend, for entertainment." The Kalari watched in absolute horror as the movie showed giant creatures with teeth like swords chasing humans through a jungle. They saw humans running and fighting and using weapons to survive. To them, it looked like a documentary about daily life on the nightmare world called Earth. "Your children watch this for fun?" asked Velara, her voice shaking. "They enjoy seeing creatures that could eat them? They think violence and death are entertaining?" Sarah quickly turned off the movie, realizing her mistake. No, it's not real. Those creatures died out millions of years ago. Earth is safe. Now, well, mostly safe." "Mostly safe?" Zeftai repeated. "What does that mean?" Sarah tried to think of how to explain. "Well, we have some dangerous animals, but they usually stay away from where people live. And we have storms sometimes, but we build strong houses. And earthquakes, but most of the time the ground stays still." Each word Sarah spoke made the aliens more terrified. They could not understand how any intelligent species could evolve on a world where the ground moved, where storms could destroy homes, and where animals saw other creatures as food. Navigator Emma Foster tried a different approach. She showed the Kalari pictures of Earth's beautiful places: mountains covered with snow, green forest full of trees, blue oceans stretching to the horizon. But even these peaceful images frightened the aliens. "That white stuff on the mountains," Quileth asked, pointing at the snow. "Is that the ice that falls from your sky and kills your plants?" "Snow can be cold, but it's also beautiful," Emma explained. "Human children play in it. They build shapes out of it and slide down hills on it." "Your children play with frozen death water," Meshara whispered from his medical bed. Emma showed them pictures of oceans next. "This is water. We swim in it for fun. We catch fish from it to eat." The Kalari looked horrified again. "You go into the water where creatures live that you want to kill? And the creatures might kill you instead? And you do this for fun?" Dr. Garcia had been listening to these conversations while she worked on treating the injured aliens. She was beginning to understand the problem. The Kalari came from a world so gentle and safe that they had never learned to deal with any kind of danger. To them, even the most basic parts of human life seemed impossible and terrifying. "Tell me about your homeworld," Dr. Garcia said gently to Meshara. "What is it like there?" Meshara's eyes glowed with happiness for the first time since the humans had arrived. "Our world has 2 small suns that give warm, gentle light. The air is thick and soft, like breathing honey. The ground is covered with plants that cushion every step. The gravity is so light that we can float if we jump. Nothing on our world hurts anything else. We get our food from plants that want to be eaten. Even our weather is gentle. The rain falls so softly it feels like a kiss." Dr. Garcia smiled. "That sounds beautiful, like paradise." "But how do you become strong living in paradise?" asked Tony Reeves, who had been listening while he worked. "How do you learn to solve problems or overcome challenges?" Quileth looked confused. "Why would we need to overcome challenges? Challenges are bad things that should not exist." Captain Ryan Clark had been listening to all these conversations through the ship's communication system. He realized that the 2 species were so different that they might never understand each other. The humans had grown strong by facing danger, while the Kalari had grown wise by avoiding it. But there was something else he noticed. Despite their fear, the Kalari had not asked the humans to leave. Despite thinking that humans were monsters, they still wanted their help. And despite being terrified, some of the younger Kalari were starting to show curiosity about these strange beings from the death world. Maybe understanding would come slowly, one small step at a time. Maybe these 2 very different species could learn from each other. The humans could learn about peace and the Kalari could learn about strength, but first they had to fix the ship and get everyone to safety. The real test of human character was still coming. Far across the galaxy, in the crystal cities of the Thyler homeworld, an emergency meeting was taking place. The Galactic Union Council had received reports about the rescue mission in the Vega system, and many members were worried. Tall crystal, beings spoke in chiming voices to fish-like creatures floating in water tanks. All of them were talking about the same thing: the humans. Council leader Thrixana was an ancient Thyler whose crystal body had grown dark with age and wisdom. She had lived for 3,000 years and had seen many species rise to join the key, galactic community. But she had never seen anything like the reports coming from Vega. The Death World beings have responded to the Kalari distress call, she announced to the Council. This is the first time they have made contact with galactic civilization. We must decide if they are dangerous. Ambassador Blueth of the aquatic Memtai spoke from her water tank. Her blue skin rippled with concern as she shared her people's fears. Our databases show that their world creates killers. Nothing good can come from a planet where survival requires violence. These humans will surely harm the peaceful Kalari. The debate continued for hours. Some council members wanted to send warships to protect the Kalari from the humans. Others wanted to wait and see what would happen. In the end, they decided to watch carefully and judge the humans by their actions. Back in the Vega system, Captain Ryan Clark faced a new crisis. His chief engineer Pete Davis had discovered a serious problem with the Kalari ship while trying to fix it. "Captain, we've got bad news," Pete reported through the communication system. "When I tried to restart their power core, it caused a chain reaction. Their whole electrical system is failing now. We have maybe 6 hours before their life support stops working completely." Dr. Lisa Garcia was monitoring the health of all 12 Kalari crew members. Their stress levels were dangerously high and their fragile bodies were not handling the crisis well. "Captain, I don't think they can survive much longer on their ship. The air is getting thin and the temperature is dropping." Captain Clark looked at his options. The only way to save the Kalari was to bring them aboard the Terra's Pride. But the human ship was designed for tough humans who could handle heavy gravity, thick air, and strong artificial light. For the delicate Kalari, it would be like trying to live inside a crushing metal box. "Dr. Garcia, can we modify our life support systems for them?" Captain Clark asked. "I can try, but it will take time we don't have," Dr. Garcia replied. "I would need to rebuild entire sections of the medical bay to create a safe environment for them." Chief Engineer Tony Reeves had an idea. "What if we use the cargo bay? It's the biggest space we have. We could set up temporary life support systems just for them." For the next 4 hours, the entire human crew worked together to create a safe space for the aliens. They installed special air filters to make the atmosphere gentler. They set up gravity dampeners to reduce the crushing weight that would break Kalari bones. They adjusted the lights to be softer and warmer, like the twin suns of the Kalari homeworld. Navigator Emma Foster used her piloting skills to create the smoothest possible transfer between ships. Even the smallest vibration could hurt the fragile aliens during the move. As the Kalari were carefully brought aboard the human ship, they were amazed by what they saw. These beings they thought were monsters were working day and night to save them. Humans who could easily crush Kalari bones were handling them as gently as they would handle their own children. But the real test came when long-range sensors detected 3 ships approaching fast. Communications Officer Sarah Kim identified them immediately. "Captain, we've got trouble. 3 Krektar pirate ships coming in fast. They must have detected our signals and think we're carrying valuable cargo." The Krektar were one of the few truly violent species in the galaxy. They were large, armored beings who attacked trade ships and colonies, taking whatever they wanted, and destroying the rest. Unlike humans who had learned violence to survive their world, the Krektar enjoyed causing pain and fear. Captain Zeftai and his crew watched in terror as the pirate ships appeared on the screen. They knew what Krektar pirates did to prisoners. Death would be a mercy compared to what awaited them if they were captured. "Captain Clark," Zeftai said quietly, "you should leave us and save your own crew. The Krektar want us, not you. If you run now, you can escape." The Kalari expected the humans to abandon them. It would be the smart choice, the logical choice. Why should Death World monsters risk their lives for fragile aliens they barely knew? Captain Clark's answer surprised everyone. "We came here to rescue you, and that's what we're going to do. No one gets left behind." "But they will destroy your ship," Velara protested. "Why would you risk your lives for us? We are nothing to you." Commander Alex Wright, who was preparing the ship's defenses, paused to answer her. "You're not nothing. You're people who need help. That's enough. The Krektar ships were now close enough to communicate. Their leader, a massive creature named Gorthak, sent a threatening message. Human ship, you are in our territory. Give us the Kalari and their ship and we will let you leave alive. Captain Clark's response was calm and firm. Negative. These people are under our protection. Turn around and leave, or we will defend ourselves. Gorthak laughed, a sound like grinding metal. You are one small ship against 3 of ours. You cannot win. Surrender now or be destroyed. The first Krektar ship opened fire, sending energy blasts toward the Terra's Pride. Captain Clark ordered his crew to battle stations, and the human ship moved to place itself directly between the pirates and the helpless Kalari vessel. The Kalari watched in amazement as the humans prepared to fight against impossible odds to protect them. These beings they had thought were monsters were willing to die rather than abandon innocent people to pirates. The battle was about to begin, and it would show the galaxy what humans were truly made of. The first Krektar energy blast hit the Terra's Pride and shook the entire ship. In the modified cargo bay, the Kalari crew grabbed onto supports to keep from falling. They had never experienced violence before, and the sound of weapons hitting their rescue ship filled them with terror. On the bridge, Captain Ryan Clark remained calm as damage reports came in. Shields down to 80%, reported tactical specialist Amy Turner. She was a young woman with quick reflexes who had trained for space combat since she was a teenager. 2 more ships coming in from the sides. Weapons Officer Chris Bell targeted the lead Krektar ship with the Terra's Pride's defense systems. Chris was a steady man who never got excited, even in battle. Firing main weapons, he announced, and bright beams of energy shot toward the pirate ship. The Krektar ship took the hit and kept coming. These pirates were used to fighting cargo ships that could barely defend themselves. They were not expecting the humans to fight back so effectively. All ships attack the human vessel, ordered Gorthak, the Krektar leader. Show these Deathworld animals what real warriors can do. But the Krektar quickly learned that fighting humans was different from raiding peaceful traders. The Terra's Pride moved in ways that seemed impossible, dodging attacks while firing back with deadly accuracy. Emma Foster, the navigator, used her piloting skills to make the large ship dance through space like a fighter craft. How are they doing that? One of the Krektar pilots asked over the radio. That ship is too big to move so fast. What the pirates did not understand was that humans had learned to fight by facing the dangers of their death world every day. Quick reflexes meant survival when earthquakes struck without warning. Strategic thinking meant staying alive when storms tried to destroy your home. The ability to function despite pain and fear meant living through encounters with Earth's deadly creatures. In the cargo bay, Dr. Lisa Garcia continued to monitor the Kalari while the battle raged around them. When the ship shook from weapons, fire, she steadied herself and kept working. A piece of metal fell from the ceiling and cut her arm, but she barely noticed the injury as she checked on her alien patients. How can she ignore being hurt? Whispered Mashara, the injured Kalari. Is she not in pain? Humans live with pain, explained Zeftai, who was beginning to understand these strange beings better. Their world taught them to keep working even when they are hurt. The battle was not going well for the humans. 3 ships against 1 was too many, even for a crew as skilled as Captain Clark's. The Terra's Pride was taking heavy damage, and several human crew members had been injured when systems exploded from weapons fire. Marine Sergeant Katie Brown was one of those injured. A power cable had snapped and burned her shoulder, but she continued working to repair the ship's defenses. Katie was a tough woman who had grown up in the rough mining colonies of the asteroid belt. She had faced cave-ins, equipment failures, and space pirates before, and she was not going to stop fighting now. Sergeant Brown, you need medical attention, Dr. Garcia called over the communication system. I'm fine, Doc, Katie replied, using her good arm to connect a new power cable. Ship needs fixing more than I need bandages. The Kalari could not believe what they were seeing. These humans continued to fight and work even when they were hurt. They protected the alien cargo bay while their own ship was being destroyed around them. They faced certain death with calm determination. But the turning point came when the Krektar tried to board the human ship. Gorthok and his warriors blasted a hole in the Terra's Pride's hull and climbed inside, expecting to find the crew cowering, in fear. Instead, they found Sergeant Katie Brown and 5 other Marines waiting for them with weapons ready. The fight that followed was brutal and short. The Krektar were strong and had good armor, but they had never faced opponents like humans before. Katie Brown moved like a machine, fighting through her pain to protect the ship. The other Marines worked as a perfect team, using tactics they had learned from studying Earth's most dangerous predators. They hit fast, pulled back, and hit again from a different direction. Impossible, Gorthok growled as his warriors fell around him. Nothing fights like this. What kind of creatures are you? We're humans, Katie replied, pointing her weapon at the pirate leader. And you just threatened our friends. The Marines captured Gorthok and drove the other pirates back to their ships. The remaining 2 Krektar vessels retreated quickly, not wanting to face any more humans in combat. As the immediate danger passed, the full extent of the human sacrifice became clear. Half the crew was injured, some seriously. The ship's engines were damaged and would need major repairs. The Terra's Pride could barely move, let alone defend itself if more pirates came. But not one human complained. Not one suggested that rescuing the Kalari had been a mistake. Instead, they continued to work, making sure their alien guests were safe and comfortable while they figured out how to get everyone home. Dr. Garcia treated human and Kalari injuries with equal care. Chief engineers Pete Davis and Tony Reeves worked together to repair both ships. Communications officer Sarah Kim sent messages to Earth, reporting that the rescue mission was successful. In the crystal cities of the Thyler homeworld, the Galactic Union Council watched recordings of the battle with amazement. They had expected the humans to be monsters, but instead they had seen heroes willing to sacrifice everything to protect innocent lives. Send a message to the human government, ordered Council Leader Thrixana. Tell them that the Galactic Union wishes to meet with them. We have need of protectors in our galaxy. The Terra's Pride limped home slowly, carrying both human and Kalari crews to safety. When they reached the Kalari homeworld, something wonderful happened. The entire planet celebrated the arrival of their heroes from the Death World. Millions of Kalari gathered to honor the humans who had risked everything to save 12 strangers. Captain Zeftai spoke for his people at the ceremony. We thought you were monsters because you came from a dangerous world, but we learned that dangerous worlds do not always create dangerous people. Sometimes they create the bravest people in the galaxy. 6 months later, Admiral Kate Sullivan sat in her office on Earth, reading reports from across the galaxy. Human rescue ships were now patrolling the space lanes, protecting peaceful species from pirates and disasters. The galaxy had learned that when civilized worlds were in danger, they could call on the Deathworlders, and the humans were always ready to answer.